Satnam, yogis and yoginis, Shaktis and Shivas. It's me, Shakti Sundari here. Just making another little video for you in the series Desire, as I read from Daniel Odier's book, Desire, the Tantric Path to Awakening. And today's video number 27 is called Passion, Compassion and True Love. Ooh, what's true love? I want to know. So, as always, I'm just going to summarize what I'm going to say and then say what I'm going to say. Passion. Somebody asks Daniel Odier a question. They ask him, how can I tell the difference between passion that comes from my ego self and real, true expression of passion as you've expressed it, the tantric expression of passion, which is divine essence of life force expressing itself spontaneously, naturally. How do I tell the difference between those two? And Daniel Odier goes on to answer, that passion that you're speaking of, that spontaneous arising of life force, is felt within your own being as a self-fulfilled state of bliss. So you experience the arising of energy and life force and movement and impulse within your body. And you witness it and you experience it and you allow it within your own body without needing to act upon it, without needing to project it, without needing to interpret it, without needing to categorize it, without needing to make it somebody else's responsibility, just being with what is in that moment spontaneously. So it's very, very different. And as Daniel Odier has said before, it's that moment when the mind kicks in and begins to add layers of interpretation and categorization and judgment and separation that we go into the sphere of the ego. Then the person who asks this question says, well, that sounds very detached and lacking in compassion. And then he goes on to say, well, we don't use the word compassion in Tantra so much because that sounds a bit condescending. We use the word love. And what he expresses, he intends to mean by that true love is actually, again, coming back to this phrase, naked awareness, where we're able to be with life and with whatever arises with naked awareness. So I'm not talking, just to be clear, about taking my clothes off here. I'm talking about being fully present without any filter or judgment, without any mental, excuse me, without any mental interpretation, bringing a mask or a layer or a distortion between me and my interaction with reality. And that, he says, when we're able to be fully present in naked awareness with life or with another person or other people, that is love. That is true love, and that is real love. But let me just read to you now, having just summarized it, what he says, because, you know, it's brilliant the way that he expresses it. Far better than I would say. Hang on, that looks a bit weird. I'm just going to put my glasses in there behind my hair. Okay, so when the ego enters into play, this is accompanied by a mental performance. So all the things, right? We anticipate what's going to happen next. Will they say this? Will they do this? Shall I do that? Should I do that? We judge. We weigh the forthcoming pleasure by trying to know in what way this pleasure will satisfy us. We become strained and tense. Our mind becomes agitated. We set up a choice. We apply a strategy. We grasp onto the object of our desire, use it, and then reject it once we are satisfied. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Either as the object or the subject. We do this with people, with objects, with our senses, our emotions, and our thoughts. We feed ourselves like predators. Wow, that's a strong word, predators. We impoverish the world in our own interest. We cause harm. We reveal that an unhealthy love is at work. I know that from personal experience, having been party to that myself. So yeah, it requires a finesse of self-awareness, and it requires a finesse of noticing and witnessing, and it requires, in my opinion anyway, a lifetime of practice. What does a tantrika do? So here's the comparison. Here's another way that this can be done. So when a stimulation arises, so, you know, let's take this really literally. When you feel perhaps desire for another person or for a thing, when you feel yourself reacting to what another person or thing is saying or doing, when it stimulates you in any way, right? When a stimulation arises, it is only the expression of the tantrika's own inner tremoring vibration. So she may notice a disturbance or a movement of energy in her own body or his own body. She relaxes, gets herself in tune, opens her sensitivity, allows the source of the heart to emerge freely. Through her movements, I'm saying her, but it could equally be a he, and actions, plenitude expresses itself. I love this word that he uses, plenitude. It's the sense from yoga, from Kundalini yoga, we say the word self-fulfilled or pre-fulfilled. So it's that same sense that there is no need at all, because I am fully fulfilled from within my own being and my own energy and my own connection. Her mind remains peaceful without waves. Woo, which one of us does that? Can and I can't. In each impassioned tremoring vibration, she or he recognizes the tremoring vibration of her own consciousness. So there's this profound level of self-awareness and sensitivity and being with what is. And there's passion in it, you know, there's fire in it. And yet the mind remains peaceful without waves. Notice that. So there may be energetic movement, emotions, desires, okay, and yet the mind remains peaceful. She tastes the world without destroying its harmony. She does not grasp, does not accumulate. A thing or a person comes up. She meets it with naked presence. Okay, nothing to do with taking your clothes off. It just means pure, unfiltered, undistorted. This person or thing disappears. You know, something that we really, really found beautiful and enchanting in that moment that we're with it, and it goes. So there's no clinging on. She stays in the flow of presence, aware of the entirely new splendor of what just appeared. Nothing is fixed. She gets hooks onto nothing. Life perpetually renews itself. Stable, steady, tremoring to her inner vibration, sensitive and present, she plays. She plays. Life as play, divine play, Leela. Intention free to the rhythm of reality. So reality being life in its purity. And in this way, she realizes her true nature. The person here who is interacting with Daniel Odier then asks, but is this not an egoist attitude? Where is compassion? He says, we cannot do a greater good to another human being than accord him our naked awareness, devoid of all plan. Without agenda, without manipulation, without attempting to get something from the other. This is such a gift, and this is, you know, the crux of tantric being and tantric living, is to be in naked awareness with oneself, with life, and with another. And this is why people who come to tantra workshops have the most profound experiences, because this is not how we are typically interacting with one another. Most of the time, most of us are coming from the ego perspective of weighing, judging, anticipating, straining, tensing, grasping, holding on to, feeling rejected, rejecting, feeding ourselves like predators, right? So naked awareness is the very space of freedom. In this respect, for the other, there is a mirror without any smudges of volition. Volition meaning choice, right? So, or impulse to control. A mirror, a pure mirror for the other. The other person can hence see his own freedom, and there is no longer any separation from the world. That is love. So it's not what we might think that it is. It's not about owning somebody or something, clinging to, manipulating, needing, expecting. None of that is actually love. Love is devoid of all plan. It's so liberating. And again, this is what people get a taste of when they come to a Tantra workshop and they feel the love, and they feel that freedom, and they feel the heart opening and the depth that they can then sink into themselves as a result of being given that mirror. It's such a gift. The other person can hence see his own freedom. I've said that bit. Love is a non-differentiated state. So love, as opposed to compassion, which implies a duality. A person who feels loved in such a way feels liberated from mental elaboration and finds herself plunged in the deepest practice of yoga. This is why when you sit with a master and or someone who is able to hold space with pure presence, you open, your heart opens, you are touched, your soul is moved, your soul is called. That is why, because they have this capacity to love you unconditionally by being pure presence. If he or she succeeds in getting a taste of this state, the nostalgia for unity comes back to her or him, and naturally they will glide towards a more and more silent, a deeper and deeper presence to the world. What more can one give to a human being? What more can one give? That is the gift of love. I am very blessed to know this gift of love, pure love, to experience that with some of my friendships, to experience that with some of my teachers, to experience that in my own practice when I am alone, but to know that pure love, and also to be able to offer that to others when I hold space in my one-to-one sessions. But I'm not a guru. I'm certainly not in that space of naked awareness consistently and all the time. But it is something that we as Tantrikas keep bringing ourselves back to and back to and back to. And we practice and we practice. And it becomes more and more a part of us. More and more a part of us. Maybe one day it will be, all that we are, but I'm certainly not there myself. But it's a beautiful thing to know that experience of naked awareness. And to me, that is one of the greatest gifts that Tantra offers. And again, people come and they say, how can I be a better lover? How can I be a better partner? How can I relate better? That's the answer, naked awareness. But it's not easy to go from 0 to 100 in naked awareness without a continuous, sustained practice of meditation, of embodied awareness. So if you want to know more about any of that, please drop me a line or write a question or a comment below. You can also go to my website, www.shaktisundari.com. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being with me. Love to hear from you as always, and look out for my next video very soon. Much love and Sat Nam.